We have hats today, and that means that we have put our thinking caps on.
No, I just been wearing this hat all day, so now if I took it off, my hair would look weird.
I put a hat on because we were filming a little bit earlier, and I had a hat in the bag of costume stuff.
And she was like, wait, don't press record yet, I have to put a hat on. And I was like...
My hair looked terrible.
What? Okay, so, stuff.
So, earlier on, we were discussing various subjects, and Omega was like, let's go and do some vlog to talk about this. And then, of course, we weren't able to do it then, but we're doing it now. So...
I got some shit to say. No, like, I was thinking about this, and because I work in a bookshop, and I work with nerds, and so we talk about nerd stuff, and I was just thinking about the whole Ghostbusters thing, and fan entitlement, and fandoms and stuff like that, because I was saying to a manager of mine, who's a big nerd, I was like, I don't know, see, the thing is that, like, I might not have gone to see the new Ghostbusters movie, but now, if I don't, I feel like that's making a statement. But then I'm afraid that if I go see it, that's also making a statement. There's nothing I can do in relation to this movie that's not making some kind of statement.
And that's sad, but that's a direct result of the people who are angry about it, but only for the reasons of misogyny. Anyone who's angry about it because it looks like shit, I'm with you. It looks terrible. But the ones who are angry simply out of misogyny, out of sexism, they've turned this into like a sexist versus feminist thing. And everyone else who is tangentially connected to liking it or disliking it, but nothing to do with that subject, are now sort of drawn into it like a whirlpool.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, okay. Like, alright, people are saying this, will invalidate their Ghostbusters experience, and I guess, but I want to share with you my two defining experiences in my life relating to both the first and second Ghostbusters movie. Now, Candid admission, I was born in the first week of 1980. I'm quite a bit older than a lot of our viewers.
Older than me.
I remember playing with a tape recorder. But anyway, so my defining memory of the first Ghostbusters movie, because I was a wee little kid. Well, I don't think I was wee when I saw it, but I was certainly like osmosisly aware of it until I was old enough to see it, was in the house where I grew up when I was really small. We had an unfinished basement, and it was fucking scary down there. It was a dirt wall basement. It was really scary. The HVAC was down there. All sorts of machines that made noises. Probably haunted. Potentially gremlins. I mean, I ain't saying, I'm just saying. So this was probably 1984 or 5, because it was before my sister was born. And my parents were off doing something else, and the door to the basement was open a crack, and I was creeped up, looking down the basement stairs, singing the Ghostbuster song as a ward against anything that might be down there.
It's a Gregory.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I mean, I really was, but... So, and then... I was 9 when the second one came out, and it came out like a week. Was it Batman came out first, and then it came out the second?
I was in a different country, and I was 6.
Okay, well, Batman and Ghostbusters 2 came out like a week.
The release dates of movies that came out 20-odd years ago is not really something that I'm a nerd about.
So when it comes up in Trivial Pursuit, I'll look to you.
I will not be much help in that, no.
Well, but anyway, they came out about a week apart. And that year in summer camp, the second to last week was always Color War, where you were divided Harry Potter.
That sounds very American. We're having Color War.
We are.
It's like, that's what Charles Manson was into that.
All the races are separate. No. It was basically you'd come in the morning.
I hope they've renamed that.
It's just called a Color War.
I know, but, given time, you'd think someone at some point, maybe in the mid-90s, would go like, wait a sec. No wonder no black kids come to this camp.
Actually, it was basically most of the kids that went there were Jewish. It was really because
somebody was junior.
Huh?
Black Jew.
Yeah, but I mean, there were black kids that went. Like this one kid who went to my high school was an incredibly talented singer. Like he had Broadway musical career written all over him, and he went to Camp Arrowhead.
Well, this sort of thing, I got the feeling the Color War part of this camp is going to be like me about 5 years ago, whenever I was sitting in the back garden, realizing that the version of Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo I've been taught was racist.
We're not going to say.
I'm not going to say it, no. But yes, it's the word with the slur in it, and it's the one with the slur in it. But the reason I didn't put this together was because I never pronounced it correctly. I didn't realize that was what it was.
Oh dear.
I thought it was Nick Kerr. As in someone who nicks things.
Like a thief. Okay.
Yes. I assumed it was an anachronistic term for a thief. And then I was putting it through my mind and I was like...
Oh, wait a second.
Like, everyone else below after me says tiger. I said, what was wrong with the word for thief? And it was like, oh God! I had a huge sort of like, oh God, sort of moment, but that sort of says something about Northern Ireland as late as the 90s.
I like that though. It's like kind of like, it makes me think of like a Cockney Victorian version of Swiper from Dora the Explorer. Hey, Swiper, no swiping.
Yeah.
Hey.
So you can see why I didn't leap to the assumption of that it was the racist story, although it is Northern Ireland.
That's true. But anyway, you had color war, and Harry Potter Rescue were divided up into either white or green, which were the camp colors. And there was a theme every year, and that year was Batman. It was Batman instead of I almost said Batman versus Superman. Batman versus Ghostbusters. I was arbitrarily put on the Batman.
How about Batman versus Superman versus quality?
Right. But yeah, so that's my. Besides the one line of "I am my comments with Google," that's my defining memory of the second Ghostbusters movie. Is the big sing off at the end of Color War, and we sang "Kiss from a Rose." I don't know how we won Color War that year, but yeah. So, like, I think there being an all-female Ghostbusters team, even if the movie ends up being really bad, will not somehow invalidate my memories of singing down the basement stairs or singing in summer camp. A lot of singing involved in noticing.
Yeah, this sort of thing, unless I get personally offended by it, like Star Trek, which was not so much because it was a reboot, but because it was getting rid of so many hours of world building. That's what annoyed me. Other remakes, it's just like, okay, alternate reality.
Well, it's like, I mean, I went into The Force Awakens because, I mean, you guys have to understand, like, from the ages of, like, 4 to probably 8, I wanted to grow up to be a Jedi Knight. It was going to happen. I felt so strong. I had every single toy. I had all the Fisher-Price records. You know, when you hear R2-D2, turn the page. Like, I had the really crappy, VHS releases of, like, the animated droids. They had a movie, and then there was an animated Ewoks movie. I
should totally buy droids on DVD, because I believe the entire series is on DVD.
I only remember the movie, which was The Great Heap.
I know, but that must be the first. That was probably the first couple episodes.
The day that I saw it, it was actually purchased for me because I had to get a tetanus shot, and I had a horrible allergic reaction. Like whatever side of the body that it was on, like, got stiff and was swollen, and so I got in McDonald's and sat down in front of this for a treat. But like, so I went into The Force Awakens knowing this is not going to be the same as the original trilogy. Because I am not a 5-year-old kid anymore. I don't believe in Jedi Knights anymore, But I went into it thinking it's not gonna be the same, but it's gonna be different, and it still could be good, and it was, Like, I think that I don't know, like, everyone's acting like, having a different movie will crucify a puppy on the true cross or something like that, and I don't understand it because I mean I saw the trailer, it's like
Yeah, you cannot deny that Ghostbusters has had a different reaction from the nerd community than the many other shit remakes we've had recently, like RoboCop. RoboCop, Total Recall.
I can't call Fantastic Four anything more than Fan Four Stick. I love you, Honest Trailers. It's great.
And with Ghostbusters, the difference does seem to be the casting.
Well, okay,
and that's why this subject is special. And like, I think it looks like shit. It looks terrible. The comedy looks completely at odds with the style of the original one. I've never seen any Paul Feig stuff, so I can't go in there being all like, he's usually okay. And given the benefit of the doubt, I think that the treatment of the black character takes one of the elements of Ghostbusters that, in retrospect, is a bit iffy. The fact that Winston was the stupid one.
Yeah, and like, she's totally kind of a stereotype.
And then they turn that up to 11.
Ooh.
The only good thing I can think of in this new Ghostbusters, even the ghosts look worse. I mean, the only good thing is Lesby Gone Spangler. The blonde one with the shades.
She's like, hey babe, how you doing? Like,
she is hot, and she's a lesbian in real life, so I'm hoping that she gets to get together with one of the other women. But apart from that, it looks like crap.
See, what I was thinking when I heard that, there's going to be an all-female Ghostbusters team, is I was thinking, this is great. Then the actors who are still alive can have cameos, that they're, they made a shit ton of money now, and they've opened themselves up for franchising. So you've got this team of girls, like, out on the West Coast somewhere, and they're like, yeah, we want to be Ghostbusters. And they're like, great, sign here, here's the license, where's the franchise fee? Okay, you're on your own. And they're like, wait, how do we use this stuff? How do we actually trap ghosts? And they're like, well, we'd tell you, but we're wealthy now, and that's a lot of work, so bye. And
Yeah.
so they have to, so you'd have, like, a little, okay, you would have a little teeny bit of a chick flick aspect, you know, but, you know, then again, you'd have them in the modern day, you know, not stumbling on, but, like, trying to figure out how to do this. They have the brand now. People are calling them, like, yeah, there's zombies, can you come over? So I thought that was, like, that's a really cool idea.
Far
you
better
know?
idea. I mean, the final thing that irritated me about this was the fact that it's a remake and not a, you know, like with The Force Awakens. I wanted them to do what they did with The Force Awakens.
Like, here's the thing, though. Like, oh, well, you have, you know, this black woman, but she's just going to be a total stereotype of exactly what Winston was.
Allegedly, I've heard the black lady, I don't know the names of any of the actors. The black lady, she was originally supposed to be one of the main scientists three, but very late she switched parts with someone else because they, between them, decided that they were better for each other's parts.
Okay, well...
That's what I've read. I have no idea.
See, the thing is that, like, you know, even... I don't know. Like, I've seen the trailer, I'm like, okay, that's good. But then, you know, I'm afraid if people are like, oh, when are you and Diamond gonna you know, do a backseat critique for Ghostbusters and give it the drubbing it deserves? Yeah, when are you gonna stick up for proud, you know, female, you know, characters? I'm like, I don't...
And there's so many people...
Well, it depends on if, like, we can see it if I'm off on the half-off day.
There's so many people who
Tuesdays
are...
is half-off day at the cinema.
There's so many people who are describing this new Ghostbusters as feminist. It's not feminist. It's got women in it. There's a difference. I mean, calling it that feminist because it's got women in it is like referring to Battlefield Earth as a men's rights activist film because its cast is primarily male. It's ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing. So I have been guilty of enjoying a few chick flicks, and one of my favorite ones is First Wives Club. Now, would you describe that as...
I've never seen First Wives Club.
What?
No, no.
It's kind of okay. I'll give you...
I'd never seen Practical Magic until you tied me down to a bed and forced me to watch it while doing spells on me.
I didn't do spells, and you know, you were forced to watch it because I had the flu, and you felt bad for me. And I said, can we watch movies that I want to watch instead of, like, Battlecock Zombies the Third? And you were like, okay. So I showed you my two favorite romantic comedies. Well, basically, they're not really. They're just movies with a romantic subplot because I don't do romantic comedy, but no, like First Wives Club, it's got Bette Midler in it and Diane Keaton.
Their husbands divorce them for the younger model, and they team up and they're
yeah, but the Goldie Hawn is also basically like them and this other woman were really close friends in college in uni, and then one of the friends, the one you know who's only in it for like 5 minutes, the actress, her husband is divorcing her. He's been cheating on her, and she kills herself. And the three of them come together.
That's a good start for a comedy.
Well, it's heartfelt. It's comedic elements, and they come together, and they realize they're all having issues, and they like kind of team up. But it ends happy, you know. Everyone who's bad gets their drubbing, and then like you know, one of the guys actually was kind of really good at heart. I think it was the guy that Bette Midler's husband, and then there's just one of the best exchanges in a chick flick ever, where the Diane Keaton's daughter has come out as gay, and she's telling her mom, well, you have to be, because she's like this neurotic New York stereotype. She's like, oh, you have to be more assertive and stuff like that, and the grandmother is like, you know, oh, you guys should do things and stuff, and the daughter goes, doormat, and the mother goes, lesbian. For some reason, I just love it so much. But anyway, so...
Someone who's seen it is going all like, I remember that. That's awesome. And I love Omega because she wears hats and she likes that film.
I do. I really do like First Wives.
I'm like, okay.
But so the thing is that, like, I mean, I don't know. Because then you end up feeling bad. Like, I don't think of myself as a feminist because I just want to live my life and do things and stuff. Because the thing is that, like, that's a really loaded word. I mean, like, even if you say, like, you support somebody who's a feminist or you say, oh, this is a feminist thing, like, then everyone will yell at you for doing it wrong. And guys will be like, oh, you're some kind of feminazi. And I know as a lesbian, I'm already suspect of being a feminazi. And, like, some guys that I knew when I came out, they were like, oh, well, you know, you're gonna go all, like, total feminazi lesbian man-hater. And I'm like, there are lots of men that I like. Most of the men in my life, in fact, are men that I like. Otherwise, they wouldn't be a part of my life because I would stop talking to them. But, like, I don't know, like, the second you say anything even involving the F word, then, like, everyone yells at you, then other women yell at you, you're being feminist wrong, and then You're not appreciating feminism.
There's a lot of
from
people who
this
who
point of
identify
view,
as
and
feminists who are shitheads. No denying
I just
that.
don't want to get into it. I don't want to get yelled at online. Is I think the point.
I usually put it down as if you look at the dictionary, feminist is defined as believing is searching for, wanting, going for equality between the sexes.
Yeah, but
which is that's the definition I go with. So if you're into equality, then feminist.
You're
However,
into equality, right?
if you truly believe that the word feminist does not mean that, and it means something entirely else, whatever that is, I don't care. It doesn't really matter. Then fine, I am whatever you define as going for equality between the sexes. That's what I am, because that's what I go for. From my point of view, that's feminist because that's the word. That's what it's meant in the dictionary for literally decades.
I know, but then you get worried about stuff like, okay, total disclosure, we have so many consoles in this house, and I borrowed the old PS3 because, finals are over, I'm going to play me some retro video games, and so I paid to download Okami in the HD remake off of PlayStation Network, because goddamn it, I fucking love that game. And there's a part in, where there's this priestess, and your little sidekick Isun is making a big deal about her chest, like she's got massive tits and stuff like that, and she's like and giving you a peek, and the wolf Amaterasu is like, oh, and then I realized, wait a second, Amaterasu is female, and I'm like, so is this a lesbian thing? Is this a joke because she has big tits? Like, should I check and see if there's been an Anita Sarkeesian video about it? Like,
from how you're describing it sounds as though the wolf is just going like, what the fuck is that human doing?
No, because the sweat drop and the Japanese sexy thing, but
okay.
Amaterasu is a female wolf because all of the other gods refer to her as the goddess, mother of us all, and stuff like that. So I'm like, should I feel guilty at the fact that my cartoon wolf is leering at a priestess's tits? I need help from the internet. No, but that's the thing. It's like, I don't know, if you speak out one way, you're bad. If you speak out the other way, you're bad. And I mean, I don't want to say that Ghostbusters wasn't important, because obviously the people who are upset really must care about the franchise. I mean,
actually, I'm thinking that not 100%. The vast majority of people who are yelling about it obviously care. That's just Occam's razor. Obviously, they're going to care. However, there's going to be a certain percentage of people who are either trolling or using it as an excuse. There's going to be people. What if you
never liked the Ghostbusters franchise to begin with?
And it's a cause that allows them to feel righteous while being a shithead online.
No, but if you're if you're like, oh, Ghostbusters, I could take it or leave it. I'm going to see the new movie? No, I don't think so. I never really was a fan. Oh, misogynist.
What?
No, but okay, suppose back in the day you didn't care for the first two Ghostbuster movies, right? Mm-hmm. And you were just like, I mean, not really a fan, And now someone's like, oh, so are you going to go see the new one? And they're like, no, not really. I didn't care for the originals.
Well, that's going to be a side effect of the regretful, small amount of people who sought out to turn this into a misogynist versus feminist thing. Mm. And which it shouldn't be at all. It just doesn't look very good. I'm not even sure if we are going to go to see it. I mean, honestly...
Well, it depends on if I'm working, because Tuesdays is a half-price night, both at the Brunswick and the Strand, so...
It doesn't look good.
When's it due out?
A few months, maybe? I don't know.
It's sad, because I actually do kind of want to go see the Warcraft movie, because it looks just like a simple, fun B-movie, fantasy movie.
And we know a few people who have seen it already, and it's not good.
Who's seen it?
Paul and Nicole.
Oh.
They went to see it last week.
Oh. Well, Paul saw it.
That was when they went to the cinema. That's what they went.
They went with Paul?
No. Whenever you got back from America and they'd gone to the cinema while you were sleeping, that's what they were seeing.
Paul saw it and said on Facebook that it was good.
Okay, well they were like 6 out of 10.
My expectations aren't high. I expect a run-of-the-mill CGI heavy fantasy thing. But if I see it on half-price night, hey.
With Warcraft, I don't give much of a shit.
Yeah, because I have no vested interest in the franchise. I played for 2 weeks, quite honestly, during Burning Crusade.
I just want to know what exactly happened to Duncan Jones. Why he was
Duncan Jones,
David Bowie's son, who directed Moon and Source Code. I haven't seen them, but apparently Moon is very good, and apparently Source Code, depending on the reviews, some people really like it, other people don't like it. But I'm just like, why did he go from apparently semi-intelligent science fiction to that? It's like Justin Kurzweil, who did his last film was the Fassbender Macbeth, and now he's doing Assassin's Creed, and it's like, why are these people who are doing sort of intelligent, sort of arty, whatever films leaping into video games? And
maybe they get offered a shit ton of money.
It's possible.
I mean,
if
or someone said to me, "Here's a shit ton of money," I'd be like, "Thank you, friend."
And they're the right age to be genuine fans of it.
If you'd like to offer me a shit ton of money, write the show.
But I gotta say, the Assassin's Creed movie, while they had a terrible choice of music, and apparently Assassin's Creed movie is 65% set in the present day or the future. It's like, does anyone involved in Assassin's Creed understand why people play it? Really? It's not to hang around the future, talking to people and shit like that.
Or in Black Flag, where you basically, can get up and go to the water cooler.
Yeah, it's... Here, guys, Assassin's Creed is popular because people like to be historical, anachronistic, murderous Batman.
And parkour.
That's the reason.
And parkour.
Yes, well, I'll be part of it.
I have parkour dreams.
But I want to say Assassin's Creed looks better than Warcraft, but it still doesn't look terribly brilliant.
Yeah, but the thing is that some movies you don't go into with high hopes.
But when we're talking about cinema stuff, I'm not sure if I'm going to see Ghostbusters simply because the backseat critiques almost never pay back what the tickets cost, and I'm not interested.
So share it with your friends.
It's not even like when it comes to cinema films, my two main interests, unless the film is special in some way, is superhero films and horror. Generally.
I like etc. films.
Yeah, but those are the two main genres we tend to go to. And I really do not know if I'll bother going to see it because it doesn't look good.
Well, do you think... I know people are talking a lot about, fan entitlement this week on Twitter because Captain America came out as Hydra, which everyone's like, oh no! How could they do it? And I'm like, it's a comic book. Nothing that happens in comic books ever stays for longer than 2 weeks. Remember, oh my gosh, Thor's a female now. And I'm like, that's grand. Hasn't, literally everyone in the MCU had their chance to pick up the hammer?
But it was different. That was someone using the hammer, but this is someone becoming Thor. Because in the original issues
but hasn't, there been, 17 squillion Thors by now?
Depends.
Wasn't Loki Thor for a while?
I don't think so.
Probably.
But
Lewis, if you know right there.
In the comics, original comics, Thor was banished from Asgard, like in the film. And Dr. What do you call him? He was incarnated as a human, and who picked up this stick, smacked it down, and became Thor. And so for the first 10, 15 years of Thor, he was a regular guy who became Thor.
Okay.
And then they finally just dropped the human persona thing because silly. And then later on, Thor was banished or died or something, and Eric Masterson was given the hammer, and he became Thor. He became the canon Thor in the same way that Jane Foster is right now. And no one bitched about the fact that you can't make this guy Thor. That's Thor. You can't make this guy Thor. It's no, it happened.
We killed Superman. Psych, we brought it back. I don't know why everyone's flipping they shit, because everything changes every 5 seconds in comic books.
Yeah.
But everyone's like, no, it's fan entitlement to be annoyed at a thing, and I don't think that's the way, because...
Thor was also a frog once.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that, because, nothing will ever be perfect. When I was little, fucking loved Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Had all the video games, had all the... Okay, enough...
You didn't have the arcade one. You didn't have the good one,
no,
the arcade
I
one.
Didn't.
The 4-player?
No, but I had the Tiger handheld, the first and second one. Wah.
That's your problem.
No, that was awesome. Do you know that when I was a kid and I had the Louis Tiger handheld, I had a whole bunch of cassette tapes. And when I moved out from my first apartment, I listened to a whole bunch of them and then threw them away. I actually made a cassette recording of myself. I'm like, I am going to beat Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 on Tiger handheld, and I will describe which turtles I use, with the sound up. I basically tape recorded a Let's Play in elementary school, and I fucking want credit for that. But, I loved the movies. My parents got us the first movie on VHS for Christmas that year. I watched it till the tracking wore out. I had the junior novelization of the first movie. Second movie, not so much, but I had David Warner in it. And then after that, I really didn't see the movies because I didn't like them.
3 was terrible.
Yeah.
4 was CGI and 20 years late.
And
Patrick Stewart was in it.
That's what I've heard. I haven't seen the new ones, so they look like they've are basically eating steroid pizza.
Yeah.
But those existing and the new cartoon versions, or there being a girl turtle, that doesn't...
Next Mutation.
Is that it?
Yeah, Venus de Milo and Next Mutation.
That doesn't retroactively...
They didn't even find a female Renaissance painter to name her after.
They could have been.
It's fuck you guys.
But anyway, that doesn't retroactively take away all the good stuff. Like, I mean, which we were talking about this earlier. Again, I loved Transformers when I was little. Optimus Prime was my first and most enduring straight crush. Although I think that might have been the result of Peter Cullen's voice work. But, like, literally...
She has me dress up sometimes.
Shut up, would you stop it? Don't tell them our sex life. But no.
One shall stand, one shall fall.
Oh, fuck me for the revolution. We'll get Megatron someday. No, but like, so I loved Transformers. And, I mean, when I saw the trailer, the advanced trailer for the first live action, like, Michael Bay one, I was just, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And then, closer to it coming out, the reviews were all really bad. So I didn't go see it.
I saw it in Thailand.
Oh, yeah, you were saying.
I was in Thailand with my mother, and we found what was like a boutique cinema or a special cinema.
Was this the place that you guys didn't stand for the national anthem?
Yeah.
Oh.
But we went
That's
in
like a
there
sin
because
in
we had
Thailand.
no idea what this special kind of cinema was, so we decided just to test it out. And we saw what films were there, and we ended up seeing Transformers. And there was this wonderful thing. It was like one entire screen, but only 16 people there. Or 16 seats, and you had these massive comfy chairs, you had waiters, you had, food given to you for free and everything, and we only realized, there was music played at the start, we only realized after we got back, and my dad told us that it was the national anthem, and technically we might have committed a crime, we don't know, maybe.
Wanted in Thailand.
But that's how I saw the Transformers movie, and the cinema-going experience was good, the film, much less so.
Well, the thing, I mean, like, I haven't seen any of them, but that doesn't go back and steal away my enjoyment of the toys when I was little, Like, when I first discovered, oh, that's how Starscream, the toy, transforms, Like, it doesn't take away you sitting on your butt on the floor in the living room, like, in 1986, watching it, and being like, I'm feeling so much enjoyment. These endorphins are just firing in my brain right now. And
It
I don't know.
doesn't take from me the memory of watching Transformers the movie with my friends on VHS in early 90s, late 80s, and then while we were watching it, there was a perfectly timed explosion on the screen with an actual bomb that went off. And when we left
Northern Irish memories.
We left the house later on, and we discovered that several windows had been blown in and everything. We're like, oh man, that film must have been awesome.
I mean, like, I really, it's kind of worries me, the fact that, like, now people get so angry about this stuff, and I was like, is it because of the internet? Is it because that we can have these communal moments together?
I'll take a slight disagreement.
Okay.
I think the idea of fan entitlement is a bit ridiculous. Fans are going to have opinions.
It's not really entitlement. Like, I'm disagreeing with the idea of entitlement because, like, you are entitled to have your own opinions about whatever you want, and if you don't like something, you don't like something.
They're going to have their opinion. So the whether you agree or disagree depends on your opinion of what's happened, and possibly the strategy that's used to voice it. If someone does something that you disagree with, and then they use it as a way to harass someone or whatever, then that's obviously bad. If someone, however, does something you think is good, it's not all the same thing. It's going to be individual how you judge each individual case. Like the Hydra thing. I can totally understand why a lot of people have a very visceral reaction to this. Because Captain America was created to be anti-Nazi, Hydra is Nazis, and he was created by Jewish guys. And
but it was going to be something, like it was Loki in his body, or he was just trolling.
It will be, but right now they're feeling really, really sort of, I can understand, I don't agree with the anger, I'm not angry, but because of all the reasons you've mentioned. I can understand why they are. I read this thing, this could be apocryphal, I just read this is an account written by someone else. But their small child found out about that, and their small child's a massive Captain America fan, and they were really upset about it.
This is one of those things where, like, your man, what's his name? Chris Evans. Chris Evans found out, and then, like, sent a text message to the child as a Captain America.
No. What happened was, Captain America. What happened was that after the parents managed to make him feel better by telling him that Captain America's writers were evil and working for Hydra.
That's brilliant.
Yes, so you got to stay a fan of Captain America because the writers will be defeated by Captain America and it'll be okay.
Like, I thought it was going to be one of those things where, like, and the child also had some kind of horrifying cancer. So Chris Evans, like, showed up in costume being like, don't worry, I'm going undercover.
But the guy is...
That'd be the kind of thing he'd do.
When it comes to people being upset about that subject matter, I mean,
okay.
what do you call him?
I can understand if it's a little kid, Like, remember, wasn't that kid who was really upset that Matt Smith wasn't going to be the Doctor anymore?
Yeah.
And Peter Capaldi had to reassure him in character, no, it's all right.
Yeah.
That's kind of cute.
But Greg Clark, who plays Coulson, who was in Iron Man 2, Thor, and the Avengers, and then he's in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he was on Twitter talking about how upset he is about it, because he was a legitimate big Captain America fan, and I believe he's also got some Jewish relatives. So, it's just...
Maybe, I don't know, maybe I don't take things as seriously, like, I don't get upset at spoilers.
I don't tend to either.
Like, okay, again, full disclosure, I don't know why I keep using that phrase today, but, so we've only watched the first, I've only watched the first season of Game of Thrones. I'm about 2/3 of the way through the first book. I'm getting there. I'll get there. I'm really busy. I've got a paper to write this summer. It's crazy. But we're going to get through the seasons of Game of Thrones, and you're going to kill me. But...
Because, yeah, I was enjoying watching it with her.
I know all the major spoilers. And I'm like, okay, that's grand. Because, I mean, okay, give things a few days. Give things a week. Not everybody has HBO. Not everybody can torrent things that everyone has the movie coming out in their country at that time. But then, like, people go so bug-fucked nanners over old spoilers. Like, the best thing we saw was, if you have access to BBC iPlayer, you can torrent this. There was a Charlie Brooker produced with Diane Morgan. I think that's her name, Diane Morgan.
Oh, the Shakespeare one?
Yeah, Kunk on Shakespeare, where she plays her character Philomena Kunk.
Who's just creatively stupid.
Oh, she's brilliant. Her stuff is brilliant. Look her up. Even if you hate Charlie Brooker, look her up, because she's great. And there's a part where she's talking about Romeo and Juliet with, like, Professor Emeritus of the Shakespeare University of Oxford or something like that. And he's like, that is quite tragic. She goes, it's a tragedy. He goes, yes, well, they die at the end, and Juliet takes poison, and then, Romeo dies after. She goes, oh. And she looks off screen through the professor. Should we put a spoiler then? Put a spoiler, yeah. But, like, and it's just, like, people, I mean, I remember, it was back when I still was able to be in the right time zone to watch RDA. Like, Nash had a banner he put up. I'm not talking about spoilers, calm yo tits. But, like, it's a thing, it's like, people get really angry about spoilers, like, homicidally angry.
Never noticed.
But people get homicidally angry because the Ninja Turtles weren't portrayed in exactly the way they,
Have you ever noticed that...
Don't get homicidally angry.
Have you ever noticed that there is a hilarious overlap? Not always, but sometimes... between people who decry stuff like, I don't know, the ability to block people on, say, Twitter, or the concept of safe spaces or whatever, who also get really upset if they find out spoilers. Have you noticed this?
I haven't.
There's been a lot of them. Someone should write some sort of a paper.
Well, I mean, technically, what you'd be looking at would be a chi-square correlation. That's the kind of statistics that you would need. Because you're using things that are no.
She's using big words to explain the idea.
No, you'd have to two things that are not nominal, because nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio is the way that we. Nominal is things that are just in name, like it's categorical. It's like all of the people who are American in this room, raise your hand. All the people that are British in this room, raise your hand. That's a nominal categoristic. Ordinal is there is an order. There was a ranking that 1 star is better than 2 stars, but the stars are not equal. There's not an equal number between 3. 3 is not 1 star greater than 2. Like, there could be a vast difference. There's no denomination of how much a star is. It's just a ranking. And then
my suggestion, which I will use small words for, is that possibly, well, part of the reason maybe I've seen some sort of correlation is possibly because might be self-selective.
that is a chi-square correlation. Is what is the kind of thing you'd have to do.
It might be self-selective that I've just noticed, or it might be my skewed view on things. I might not have seen the right people. I don't know.
That would be really interesting. And the way that you could test this is you would design a questionnaire. You could use a Likert type scale, so it would have a high inner item validity. So you'd basically take something that has high inner item validity and rewrite the questions on a Likert scale for something like this and say, how do you feel about safe spaces? How do you feel about spoil? It would ask a whole bunch of questions, be about, I guess, your interactions with social media. And then what you could do is then you could work out if there's a correlation. I like statistics.
My suggestion would
This
be...
is really a vlog about Ghostbusters, we promise. Also statistics.
My suggestion would be that there might be a selection of people who, because society is not institutionally sort of upset at them, so they've never felt the need to go into a quote-unquote safe space. So they're against them, but then at the same time, whenever they come across something that does affect them, spoiler, it's something, so they react really, really loudly to it because they're not used to having things affecting them.
That could be. I mean, it's possible.
That's only for the ones that I've noticed. I mean,
I couldn't say for sure without doing a sample.
There could be a hell of a lot of overlap in people who are against safe spaces who don't like it, or who do like spoilers. It's just maybe I didn't notice.
Well, the people just don't mind it. I mean, it's just
I'm not omnipotent. I can't see everything.
It's just that's what I'm seeing a lot of. It's just I just want to hug everyone and be like, don't get so upset. It's just a movie. Although I guess it's kind of hypocritical for me to say it's just a movie. Don't get upset about that. I mean, like.
Well, it'll be very hypocritical for me to say it, especially considering the Twatty Who reviews.
Well, yeah.
But like I said, being upset at a work of fiction, it's just, all you can go by is, A, what the thing is they're being upset, and B, B, why they're upset at it, and C, how they're dealing with it,
I guess
what
I can
they're
see
doing.
It because, like, I mean, what is most of our lives if not escapism? I mean, like, it's the concept of samsara, it's the wheel turning, it's the dance of everyday life, you know? Like,
Samsara was better than Kronos.
No, I don't mean the movie. I mean the concept of samsara. But, like, I mean, like, if you look at the world right now, it's depressing as shit. I mean, the world has always been coming apart. We just think that it's just coming apart extra because we're the ones experiencing it this time. But, like, people literally thought that the revelation was going to happen, like, the week after the Book of Revelations was written. Like, people were expecting the end of the world, like, for 1,000 years after Revelations was written. But, like...
Only 1,000? They're still waiting.
Yeah, well, okay, a certain select subspecies of people. But the thing is that, like, shit is really bad all over the world. I mean, some people have it really good, some people really don't. Even the people who have it really good don't have it all that good, really, compared to how good things could be if we were the max of human potential. So, I mean, I guess it is fair to say that it is our nature to search for distraction, to search for escapism. So I guess if, you know, Ghostbusters is the one thing that's keeping you from letting that existential dread set in, to realize, oh my god, one day I am going to die. It could be tomorrow, it could be in 20 years, but there is nothing I can do to prevent the cessation of my consciousness. And then it's ruined for you? I guess I can see getting upset.
It can't be ruined, though. The
Not
idea
ruined,
that
but you believe that it's ruined for you.
Yeah, that belief would be ridiculous.
It would be ridiculous, but I guess I can see why people care so much. I mean, and the internet, it's different. Like, I mean, I have these theories about people that came of cognitive maturity pre-internet, during internet, and post-internet. But I guess, like, I mean, it's easy to get upset about Ghostbusters because you can definitively say, I'm upset with how this was redone, I was upset with the script, but it's hardest to say, I'm upset with the Flint water crisis, and there's basically nothing I can do.
With the Ghostbusters, it's another possibility of why people are particularly angry about this one. Mm-hmm. Because they saw it
I'm not meaning to compare Ghostbusters to the Flint water crisis, obviously. Those are just two convenient examples.
They're both subjects people can be upset about.
Yeah.
The other thing is, Ghostbusters, even though it's not a kid's film, most people who saw it and loved it saw it as children. That's true.
Although I think I was too young when I saw the first one, because the blowjob joke, right over my head. What?
So Ghostbusters, it could be just a perfect storm of stuff designed to create anger. I mean, it's a remake of a beloved film. It was a thing that most people fell in love with as children, so they feel really emotionally connected to it. You've also got the all-female cast. You've got instead of doing a belated sequel, you've got a reboot. You've had the fact that a sequel has been mooted and been tried to do for 20-odd years.
And then Harold Ramis finally
all that stuff. Yeah, and you got all these sorts of things that maybe just created a perfect storm of people being angry. And but about Harold Ramis, I really, really hope that in the Ghostbusters remake there is a Harold Ramis ghost.
That'd be really cool.
Because some people would probably reckon that would be terrible, taste.
Well, is that what you would have wanted? Do you think?
I have no idea. But Slimer in the original Ghostbusters was John Belushi. He died in pre-production. He was meant to play Peter Venkman.
That's right. I did know that.
That was their tribute.
Well, I didn't know anything about Slimer. I didn't know he was going to be involved.
Yeah, that was their tribute to John Belushi. Slimer, because Slimer going around eating everything. John Belushi ate a lot of shit, did a lot of drugs.
Oh.
He was very unruly.
Didn't his heart attack come from an overdose?
I would not be surprised. But
I don't remember.
Because of that, I really hope Harold Ramis turns up. He doesn't need to be literally looking like Harold Ramis. Make a cartoony one that looks a bit like Harold Ramis. Just in there, it would be the most beautiful tribute.
It would, actually, and I hope they do that. I mean, they might not, but you never know.
I mean, I had my idea for how they could do a Ghostbusters 3.
Oh, yeah, say it, because yours is really good. You come up with the best ideas.
Well, you know my thing, if I'm trying to sleep, I will usually take some sort of a...
Replot the entirety of Star Trek.
Come up with ideas for what I would do if I was in charge of a thing that I like. Because I am a Ghostbusters fan, although, here's the thing.
And you also are an award-winning playwright and scriptwriter.
Award-winning scriptwriter, award-nominated playwright.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
But,
an actual director of music videos. And
not very much. Documentary was so bad, my lecturer asked me if I was taking the piss.
No, I saw your documentary. I thought it was good.
No, that was a different documentary.
I mean the one that the BBC
the BBC used a little clip of it and to laugh at. That was funny. But, okay, my idea for Ghostbusters. It is set, well, now-ish, but right after the events of either Ghostbusters 2 or the video game, depending if you see it as canon, the Ghostbusters get, the government uses a technological version of eminent domain basically to seize the Ghostbusters equipment. And they use it themselves, they upgrade it, they give it to their people to use, because ghosts are real and therefore they're going to deal with it, they're not going to leave it to some, idiots running around. The Ghostbusters are offered jobs, research jobs, tech jobs, and possibly one of them takes it, that can be some sort of friction. They take the job and they're inventing new tech for them, but the other ones just continue on. Now you go years and years later, and basically you've got the ghost hunting equivalent of Blackwater, or like a military-industrial complex sort of squads who are there to deal with important ghosts. They're used... The government... It's basically a way to use really expensive... It's a way to bleed money, like the military-industrial complex does, overcharging the government and stuff, making ghost hunting a private thing underneath the government umbrella. It's, bloated. It's like shit that happens. Yeah. And the Ghostbusters themselves are continuing on, but they're doing the equivalent of, like, mall security. The ghosts that are not important enough or impressive enough or interesting enough that the other guys will deal with, they deal with them. So it's the equivalent of maybe rat catching with ghosts. And they're just barely scraping through. They can't replace their equipment or anything like that. They're not getting money from the government for this, either who stole their stuff. And so they're struggling. So this new team, there's been hella... amazing sort of upgrades in the technology. You've got these sort of suits which are like some sort of fabric, but almost like ninja suits which are entirely covering them, which are been designed basically to keep ectoplasm out to make sure they can't be possessed. You would have the pack is built into the suit on the back, but there's no wand, there's no gun. The wiring for the gun goes down the arms and into the palms of the hand. A bit like Iron Man, but the logic is, then you could have one ghost getting caught by one Ghostbuster. They just have to move their arms. Rather than having two people to put them into the trap, you just need the one. So you got two streams from one person. And then you've got, the traps would be like circular, like a grenade. You press a button, you throw it into the air, and then like a second later... bright white light, it opens up all over it, and it sucks in from all over the room, and then falls to the ground. Okay, now, at one point during one of the interactions, at some point, like one of those suits gets damaged, and a possessor ghost gets in, and he takes over, and then he damages the other suits, and this other possessor goes in, and suddenly you've got a bunch of ghosts possessing a bunch of highly technological ghost hunters who probably then team up with actual ghosts and do all sorts of shenanigans. It's this idea...
like a corrupt SEAL team.
Yeah, a little bit like that, and it's basically inspired by the episode of the real Ghostbusters where their suits were possessed by ghosts that resembled themselves. It was like the second episode or something, and then because this electronic stuff is all compromised and everything, they need to use the older stuff, the more analog, not actually analog, but it's analog digital is a good way to describe the differences in technology between the two ones. The original equipment and the original guys, because they're the ones who know how to use it. Maybe a couple of guys who are crap at it who are being brought along because they're young and spry, and they have to deal with it. My idea for Ghostbusters 3.
A good one. Where's the feminism in that, I ask you?
I have no idea if there's any feminism in this new film. I mean, all we know is that there's a woman in it. A hell of a lot of films are feminists,
so, like,
are not feminists, and don't.
You know how, like, the Bechdel test is, like, a kind of good thought exercise, but it really isn't the determiner of a good movie?
Yes.
Well,
I don't think it was never intended to be the determinator of a good movie.
no, I think Alison Bechdel, I mean, herself has said, it was a cartoon, it was a comic book strip, you guys.
Yeah, it was just, she said that was her rule for going to see a film.
Yeah.
Because she didn't want to waste time on films that didn't treat women as equal characters. And which is fair enough. You can have whatever rule you like.
I mean, so, I don't know, we've talked about him before, Zach, who did Indie Christian Review, he is, he's an independent, film writer and filmmaker.
He's really good.
I think the film that he made is out now, because it was a long time ago.
Yeah, In His Steps.
It's called In His Steps, and it's based off of a very famous Christian book. And so he gave us a screening copy for us to watch, and we talk about it, because we have him on Lesbian Talk sometimes. And I watched it, and, I mean, it has its issues, particularly being low budget, but then again, he knew that going into it. You know, he's an independent filmmaker, and it's a nice little movie. But we're talking about it, and I realized, oh my gosh, this film passes the Bechdel test.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were two women talking about something that was not a man.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even Jesus. Because I don't know if Jesus actually counts as a man.
Depends on the Christian.
I know. But, like, the thing is that, you know, the fact that his movie passed the Bechdel test didn't overcome its budget issues. But, like, every movie that passes is not necessarily going to be good. But you can have good movies don't pass.
I would go as far to say
like,
that
did Civil War pass?
Probably, but I can't think of how off the top of my head. But I would say that most films that pass the Bechdel test are probably bad, simply because most films are bad.
Well, that's just true. But, like, I mean, is there a feminist test? Like,
no.
Having more
it's entirely
women...
subjective.
No, I'm saying this, like, it's a thought exercise. It's like, so, what makes a woman character, like, a woman character? Because a lot of people are like, I was thinking about this the other day while I was at home, and I was visiting America, and I was eating a cookie, and I was in bed thinking about this, and I was like, so, you know how, like, they said, you know, it's the mark of a bad male writer or filmmaker or whatever if a character has a rape in her background. And the rape...
Who said that?
I've read like people tweeting about this, that, you know, oh, well, that's a weak thing to give them motivation that they were raped.
Oh, no. The thing, if we're thinking about the same thing, the thing they're annoyed about is that the rape or the murder or whatever of a female character is used to give the male character a reason to do stuff.
This was like a while ago.
Okay.
And, like, this is something that I've heard before, like, in LARP, you know, we're always told, don't have a rape in your character's back history. It's the sign of, you know, a lazy character creator, that, oh, you know, like, you know, this would happen, and this would either traumatize a woman, or it would galvanize her, or it would change her in some way, but why couldn't she have just had a realization? But then I wondered, because there's lots of women who have been raped.
A hell of a lot. So,
are they, however they deal with the rape, or whatever happened to their lives after that, is that not real? But then I thought, like, people are down George R.R. Martin saying, well, there's too much rape and you know, sexualization in your books, and people defend him by saying, hi, but that's what the Middle Ages were like. And then you have, you know, people who have PhDs in...
It's a bit of a silly argument, though.
Well, because you have people who have PhDs in medieval history coming and saying, actually, it's really not like you think it is. You know, but then I was thinking,
the fact that Westeros is not the Middle Ages; it's a fantasy world.
Right,
so
but
he could have anything you like in there.
But people were defending him, saying that's what those times were like. But then you have actual scholars saying, actually, that's just what you think those times were like. They were not really that bad.
Yeah, and Martin makes every single thing in those books is his choice.
Right,
and it's a perfectly valid choice.
But the thing is,
but people are going to have their opinions, and that's okay.
So, here's the thing, it kind of almost feels like there's no right way to write about rape. But rape is something
because it's art.
But rape is something that happens in the real world.
Yes, but it's the same.
If you understand what I'm talking about,
it's the same as any subject. It's if you're writing about something as art, like novel, even a silly internet video, or painting, or whatever, it's entirely subjective. So people can make arguments about why it's wrong or right.
So then if you include a rape, it's always bad. Because you could have chose there to not be a rape. But rape is a real thing that happens. Like,
no. I'm not making that argument. What I'm saying is that the people, it's the arguments about it, for and against, for including rape in a character's backstory.
Or in the main story even, or in the main story,
that's
We should tweet at Lindsay.
There's
She always has a
nothing
good opinion
good-
on this kind of stuff.
It's not a good or a bad thing because it's art.
Oh.
And therefore, if you want to defend it and talk about it like that, then in your justifications, that's where the good and bad comes in. Because if you get a really fucking stupid justification, such as, she was raped because of ice cream, that's a really fucking stupid argument.
She was raped because there was a rapist. But like, if you have like a rapist and the rapist is a bad guy and you just, everything says, oh, the rapist is a bad person, it's horrible. I'd be like, well, you shouldn't have a rapist in there because...
For instance, remember Anita Sarkeesian's video, which...
Honey, I have to confess, I've actually never seen it.
Okay, well...
I'm sorry. I have so many people in my subscriptions.
Half the people watching right now
I have to watch a lot of the Hydraulic Press channel, you must understand.
Half the people who are watching this right now are like going like, oh my god, Anita Sarkeesian is evil, rog, and they're like pointing at the screen right now. Hello, I can see you pointing. Basically,
but she is very dangerous and may attack at any time, so we must deal with her.
I don't like press challenges.
Oh no! Someone will probably, because they take requests for the little guy to be squished at the end, and someone will request to play the scene and Anita Sarkeesian.
That would be a really funny crossover. But unfortunately, like every single thing about Anita Sarkeesian, it's like Ghostbusters. It basically means that you're getting sucked into a whirlpool of something that's you're not actually connected to.
I've never seen any of her stuff.
I've seen quite a lot of her videos, but there's one where she talks about rape as drama, and she's not happy about it.
Oh, isn't the one where it involves Dragon Age?
Yes.
And I agree with you on that.
And she said, she gave a huge list of like games that use rape just as cheap and easy drama, usually backstory for to give the male main character something to be angry about. And it's like, okay, but in this big list of games, they had Dragon Age Origins. Now,
specifically the City Elf origin.
Yes, the City Elf origin, where it was the rape at the very start, or the attempt at it. I can't remember if it actually goes through or not.
Well, no, I think if you play a female City Elf, they imply that you are going to be raped.
Yeah, that's it.
If you play a male City Elf, it's your cousin who is raped.
So I played just randomly a City Elf, my first playthrough of Dragon Age Origins. I had very little idea about how the world works and stuff, and the rape was used as a way to show just how third-class citizens the City Elves are.
Yeah, basically, if you're a male City Elf, you and your best friend are having, you both are getting married. It's an arranged marriage to this elf that you've just met. Your wives are drug off because a human noble comes in and he's like, what are you doing? Like, we're having a marriage. No, you're not. I'm raping your women's. And your cousin is taken and she is raped. And you break her out as part of your origin. And it's to show you that basically you are such, third-rate citizens that the humans will just come in and try to rape you or your women.
It was a hell of an effective bit of world building. For me, anyway.
Yeah.
And I was playing a female City Elf, and that galvanized how I played the character for the rest of the game. And much to your annoyance, I played the character as a City Elf who absolutely despises humans.
Well, when I played the male City Elf, he was very sardonic. And he was kind of like, not exactly all light side, shall we say. And he ended up doing the dark ritual and shacking up with Morgan, and there you go. And then he goes through the witch gate at the end.
Well, with my one, she basically would take any opportunity to hurt humans, but help dwarves and anyone else, or elves. Just, she wanted to hurt humans. Although, ironically, she fell in love with Leliana. But, I felt it was very unfair of Sarkeesian to have that example in there. Because it was not cheap or easy drama. I think it was done for world building purposes, and I did a huge bunch of tweets about this years ago, explaining my issues with it, and
but nobody cared because nobody hated her yet.
No, a bunch of people did hate her back then.
Oh, that's good to know. Don't worry, she still had a bunch of people hating her back then.
Poor Sarkeesian. She's had a hell of a lot of people hating her since day one, and it is so unfair.
Yeah, I don't know what she thinks she's getting up to. I mean, after all, if we learned today from YouTube, men evolved to be Ghostbusters and women evolved to have Etsy stores.
Yes, thank you, David Zerini.
I don't have an Etsy store.
My point is,
I'm selling stuff on eBay, though.
That Sarkeesian was, I feel, incredibly wrong there. Completely wrong-headed. Happily criticize her. And look, no feminist SJWs are bursting in through the doors to tell us how wrong we are.
Well, yeah, because we're on the 3rd floor. They'd have to climb all the stairs.
But going back to my original point, the issue is the nature of the complaint, how is it expressed, and your reasons for it. Those three things are the things that influence whether it's worthwhile, whether it's a good complaint or not. If it's or whether it's a bad complaint.
Well, it's like...
It's not just complaints about this thing are bad. It's a question of, is it a good complaint about that? Is it a good complaint of that? Is it a complaint of that with a good reason? Is it a complaint of that which is actually being reacted to like a sane human being?
Well, I felt that the live-action Transformers movies really didn't possess the spirit of the original show,
No,
and
they
so
didn't.
I didn't go to see them. But, like, you know, no one's ever attacked me for that. I mean, at least I hope not. That's my knowledge, anyway.
It's because the Transformers live-action movies were recognized pretty much by everyone as shit, and they never became...
They've made Optimus Prime a girl.
They
The
never-
windows are now tits.
They never became big... They never became politicized in a different sphere, shall we say.
We should politicize lesbian talk. Maybe we'll get more hits.
We did do the episode where we were discussing social justice.
Yeah, but we didn't really discuss it a lot because I was afraid of getting yelled at. So if you don't listen to lesbian talk, you're obviously a horrible person. Just letting you know.
There was
I'll harass you on Twitter.
politicization being done of Transformers, though.
Really?
Where, you know, in the early days, you had Chromia and Elita 1 and RC and stuff, you know, the female Transformers. But then later on, they made it canon that there were male and female Transformers, and that irritated a bunch of people.
Yeah, I never understood that because they don't reproduce sexually.
Yeah.
Like, why would they have a concept of human gender? They are machines.
I think that's entirely logical. I agree with that. However, Transformers were almost always uniformly referred to as having male voices and having male body shapes. So the idea that Ghostbusters had a gender and it was invented much later on is ridiculous. They had it since day one, and it was stupid from day one. What they really should have done is have a mixture of female-looking body types with male voices. They should have had a huge smorgasbord of variety.
Why would you need to have tits?
You don't need to have tits to have...
Like, okay, the only way I could see it is if it turns out there was some great creator of the Transformers who originally wrote all of their plans. No. Like you find out that there was human involvement, like some future humans came back in time or something.
According
like
to
that.
the comics, Primus was once biological, I think.
Okay, well then that would make sense. But like literally, like there's no reason that would be like, why would your blender have a penis? I mean.
Well, remember, look at the Transformers.
Has a penis
Look at the
show.
designs of the Transformers over the years. A hell of a lot of them have extraneous bits that have no point. They're just bits that are stuck onto it. So why couldn't a couple of them not be in the position of where they would have tits and just look a bit like that?
Oh, I get like accidentally.
Springer from Transformers the movie, 1986. Who's introduced there and was in season 3, he's got massive tits. Several of the male Transformers have what look like tits.
I thought those were pecs because I asked my mom when I was really little, and she's like, no, those are his pectoral muscles. And I said, okay.
So the idea that Transformers having genders was introduced...
Remember that episode where the Constructicons became Autobots?
Yes.
That was really awesome.
But
they weren't being appreciated enough by the Decepticons, so they went to the Autobots.
But the idea that the Transformers suddenly became genders a couple of years ago when they officially made it a thing is ridiculous. However, I really wish from day one they had been androgynous because they're fucking robots.
Yeah,
I mean, Optimus Prime with a woman's voice, perfectly fine. You know, give Transformers 3 legs, give them 4 legs, give them. Why do they have to look like human shape?
Because they're robots in disguise.
Oh, I don't know, but why are they disguised as humans? It's like.
They're being disguised as
I'd
human
rather have
machines.
they should have much more variety in how they look. And I'm a big old school Transformers fan. I mean, I once had a 20-minute argument with the guy who does the commentaries for the UK releases of the Transformers episodes and stuff.
Is he not your man that owns Mad?
Yeah.
That's why I can't go in there, because I'm afraid they're going to be like, you're Demon Huggins' wife, I just wanted to buy a DVD, I'm sorry, I'll go to CEX.
But yeah, this guy, he does commentaries for official releases as, like, apparently the UK's top Transformers expert. And I once, without knowing who he was, had a 20-minute argument with him over who the best Transformer was. And I stand by it. It was Brawn.
Why do you support this?
Brawn, the Generation 1 original series Autobot who allegedly died in the movie. And he's awesome because he's so fucking unreasonable. There was one story where he was yelling at Perceptor, was it Perceptor, or someone like that, who, because he was a medic and therefore not helping out with the cause. It's like, you're a medic, what do you do? I shoot all the Decepticons all day, what the fuck do you do? And it's like, you're so unreasonable, Brawn, I love you. He's the guy who, like, would, you know, I believe he knocked Megatron down a couple of times, you know, shot him and stuff like that. Plus, he totally survived the movie.
That's true.
Because in the movie, he got shot in the shoulder when previously he'd been shot in the chest and survived, and he fell over. Then, the next shot we see him, he's on his back instead of his front. He has moved over. He was still alive. And then the ship crashed, and in season 3, for like one shot, he's in a group shot. Technically, it's an art mistake. They didn't mean to have him there, but I don't care. Braun fucking survived. Braun lives. He's going to hang out with Stannis Baratheon, and it's going to be awesome.
And if you don't agree, you're a misogynist. You probably hate gay people, too. Well, we've been going for an hour, so we should probably wrap this up. Yeah. We should say like some really inflammatory stuff in case you just click to the end to see. I don't know. Like I discussed in the comments, should there be a Bechdel-esque feminist test? Like
you can't do that.
Yeah, but like
it's entirely
what makes a female character a good female character versus she was just written that way because men were
you can't quantify that.
Yeah, well,
you got to argue.
Yeah, but I'm interested.
Opinion.
No, I'm interested in this from a thought perspective. I'm interested.
It has to be a thought experiment.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, what people, what would you say? What would your idea be if you had to write? If this was your final question in women's studies or whatever class you're taking, and they said write a feminist test for a character like the Bechdel test, what would you call that? What would your hard and fast be?
You know the movies, the Bechdel test is a hard and concrete rule.
Yeah.
That's why it works, but that's also why it's ultimately not an example of quality.
Right.
But it says something concrete, but it's not
I'm sure
quality.
There's a part in Della Morte where there are two female dolls talking about something that's not possible. A man. That doesn't make Della Morte high cinema.
But you cannot have a concrete rule when it comes to art about what good art is because of the very nature of art.
Yeah, but you're not saying that feminism is art. Like if I would take out a movie,
but feminism itself isn't art, but it is also something that you can't concretely quantify.
Oh, that's a good point.
That's my issue.
Then it would be.
It's opinion, and it's something that you back up afterwards. You know, you can back it up with opinion, with information afterwards, but you can't really point it at something in particular and say that's definitely an example of this.
My favorite character is Xena Warrior Princess, as portrayed by Lucy Lawless. I'll tell you what. I'll watch the remake. I'll watch it even more because they're actually going to be a gay couple.
Did you hear the? Explain the idea I came up with in the car.
I forget what idea you came up with in the car.
Oh yeah, you were.
I was so jet-lagged.
Basically, we were talking about this whenever she was coming back from the airport, and I came up with the idea that Lucy Lawless should appear.
Oh right, yeah,
should do recurring appearances as Ares, as in Ares appears and is like, "Holy shit, Xena is awesome, and she's in love with Gabrielle. I know, I'm gonna be a hot chick for the rest of this series to seduce Xena."
I think that would be a great homage to Lucy Lawless, and I know she'd probably do it too.
And to the fact that Ares is in love with Xena.
Like when a few years ago, I had this great idea of how you could continue on Xena, but you'd set it in the Dark Ages, and basically you have an alchemist who's gotten a hold of Xena's ashes, and he manages to resurrect her from those ashes, but she goes like berserk because she doesn't remember anything and kills him, and then she's like rampaging around the countryside, and she rampages into a convent when who is there being a nun, but it's Sister Gabrielle, and that's how they end up together, and they go off and have medieval adventures. Yeah. But like...
Back to the Ghostbusters thing. Because, you know, to bring this full circle. Yes, the film, I don't think the film looks good. I think it looks terrible. However, if your only issue with the film is that they cast 4 women in it, okay. Imagine there's a parallel universe where the exact same script happened and it just happened to be 4 dudes in those positions, and you're playing the parts.
Yeah. Costumes
and all, just to be fruity. If you still think it looks like shit, great. If you think it looks good, then you might have issues, because then your only issue is that it's 4 women starring in it.
All right.
And you know, then you're in great company with Davis Arini, who truly believes that men evolved to be Ghostbusters and women evolved to run our Etsy stores.
What about trans people? Do you have to like take
he does not believe in
correspondence
trans people.
Classes?
He does not believe in such things. Davis Arini is a very special individual.
Oh. Well, there you go. If you evolved to hunt ghosts or have an Etsy store for the show. So, that's what we have to say about that. I hope you've learned something. Hope you're arguing about it in the comments right now. Just keep in mind, watch a thing like a thing. Don't freak out about spoilers and calm your tits. Musty. Any last words?
We're gonna get so yelled at.
We probably are. Bye, you guys.